TimDillon is going to hell.
We're going to really take a hard, critical look at the people that society's decided to hate, the billionaires, the dictators, the CEOs.
On Gas Digital Network.
We know that there are bad things in the world, there are bad people, and thank God for them.
Won't you join him?
What's good without evil? I know you're excited about Who Took Johnny the Musical. I get it. I know you are excited. But if we are on a crowded C train and without any context, you shout to me on the train, "Do you need a pedophile for your show?" And the entire train now wants to beat the shit out of us justifiably because we're a couple of flagrant pedophiles talking about the show we're producing. I would like you to constrain yourself.
Can you imagine you're some guy from the Midwest, you're here on a trip or whatever, business trip? I mean, what do you pay? Like, pedophilia is coming back in style in New York.
It's big. I mean, some guy comes up to me, sweet guy, I didn't know him, a comedian. He's like, I look like I'll play a pedophile for the show. I'll do it. And the people on the train, with the exception of one old guy who looked a little like, "Well, what's going on here?" The people
I grew up in the wrong time.
People were visibly disturbed and disgusted by it. And I'm, of course, flustered because not only am I the pedophile that's putting on the show, I'm casting the show. And here's the other thing, folks. We're not doing open auditions for Who Took Johnny the Musical. The term in the business is offer only. Do you think I'm wrong, Ray?
100% don't want to see anyone making cold call about this. No, we know enough people.
We know enough people.
We'll seek them out.
Think about that. We need twinks.
There we go.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? This, we're not saying this is right, but these were young boys in cages. So we're going to have good-looking, in shape, preferably hairless comics and or actors in cages.
And then me playing Johnny.
And you're going to play Joe. Well, that's going to be funny.
Right.
But that's who we're going to have. And for diversity, they're going to make sure one of the satanic pedophiles is a woman. Because some of the people in government that were molesting the kids were women. And
right.
we don't want to be mansplaining satanic pedophilia. We want everybody involved. We want to prove that everyone's evil.
Oh.
You think I'm wrong to have twins in a cage? You're saying it like I'm... Who would you cast? Who do you cast in the cages?
No, I guess you'd
Who are they fucking?
I guess you'd call them twinks.
Who are they going to fuck?
Well, younger, yeah. They
come on.
They tend to overlap with the Venn diagram of twinks, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, come on. We're not putting actual kids in the thing.
Right.
We're using comedians.
That's a good point. We're going to have people who are 25, 30. If you're not a twink, then what are we doing here?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can't. The joke, Ray is going to be walking around in a fucking schoolboy outfit. That's the joke. But we only get mileage out of that. We're not going to have everybody in the cage be a fat monster. That's not the point. We got one physical joke. I think I may play Noreen. That's a gag.
Yeah.
So we get that physical gag. But, then we gotta go for realism.
Yeah. We need to really approach this from a visceral...
It's got to be real. You want to be in the business or not? I was at a party the other day with now we'll talk about the Boston Marathon.
Which one's he's still alive? They didn't put him down, did they?
Dzhokhar Tsarnaev is still alive. He's been sentenced to death.
Right. That's going to take 10 years. I mean, they don't expedite those that quickly, do they?
Probably not.
I mean, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's still alive, or they kill him finally?
Dana, Google Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. I think he's still around.
I think so. I don't think they killed him yet.
I don't know. But the Tsarnaev brothers, the younger one. The older one, too much of a meathead for me.
He got shot by he got ran over by his brother? Is that the story?
I don't know. They shot him multiple times, and then and then the other one is, was I think he was shot too.
Right.
But he somehow made it out. He's still around, right, Dana? Yeah, Khalid's still around.
Good.
But so the Boston Marathon. I was at a party, and we talked about this We talked about this briefly the other day. I was at a party with some writers for some bigger TV shows, and a lot of these guys the people in writers' rooms. A lot of them went to Yale, Harvard.
Right.
They're smart people. They're generally like incurious people though. They're not necessarily like inquisitive. They're not really. They tend to draw a line around what they will and won't talk about and entertain in their own minds.
Right.
And so I'm at the party, and they all think I'm funny, but they also think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Because I say whatever I want, and there's nothing I won't entertain. Nothing. So I bring up this new book that came out about the Boston Marathon, and they all, some of them will listen to the Baker stuff on the podcast, and they'll be like, and these guys who went to Harvard, and they're like, I don't know, it seems a little out of the mainstream. I'm like, that's your argument? These are Harvard graduates.
Well, why else would society have institutions like Harvard, if not to, make a formative impression on young
It's great.
elite
That's
minds?
such a great point. It's true. It's true, and they do a good job of it.
Yeah.
And Ray's always had this point, too. It's like, we're sitting in a fucking apartment in the East Village sweating to death talking to fucking Russ Baker, who's been fucking exiled from the mainstream, and these kids are in a fucking townhouse in Tribeca talking about fucking, there's no reward in our society for being right.
Right.
There's very little reward. In fact,
You don't even have. It's not even like you're like Chomsky to many is an outspoken whatever. He's a messianic figure to some people.
right.
But guys like Baker. I mean, this day and age, when we talk about this stuff, you're just a crank.
Right.
There's not
Right.
even
Right.
the fans.
And so it's interesting is like these guys, that write for these shows, these Yale graduates, they're always ready to discuss political theory. They love to discuss,
Well, John Locke.
not like John Locke, but they love to chat about politics.
Oh,
they
okay.
love it. They love it. Love it.
Procedural shit.
The procedural stuff and the they'll talk about the neoconservatives, and they'll talk about the alt-right and the neo-classic left and neo-classic liberals or whatever it is. But when you start talking about how things work or the machinery of government on any level, they kind of check out. And the new book basically came out. This lady, Michelle McPhee, who's an ABC News reporter, who wrote a book, who actually, which I also love, got in a Dewey and punched a cop in Boston, which in Boston is just what you do.
Give you street cred.
That's what you do. You have to do that in order for anyone to even talk to you.
Right.
You have to punch a cop.
We're gonna walk through Southie with a fucking Harvard
And
sweatshirt
she's
on?
white, so they were like, walk it off. But they tuned her up good. They punched her in the face. If you Google her, she's got a fucking, she's got a good one. But she wrote a book basically saying, listen, and me and Ray have kind of hammered this point. Baker had written about it. We had said this because the whole entire Boston Marathon, the feds basically being like, we don't know who these guys are. Russia being like, yeah, you do. We alerted you and told you who these fuckers were. And then the feds catching these people so quick, like we have no idea who they are, but then you catch them immediately in the middle of the night in a boat. It seemed like a movie of the week and not a good one.
Right.
And she wrote a book basically saying that these guys were informants. They were FBI, rats. Supposedly, they cultivated. This is the way the FBI cultivates informants. And the feds were promising them citizenship. The older one, not the younger one.
Were they now I know they're from.
Is it
Georgia or
Dagestan, Chechnya? Chechnya.
Chechnya, right? They're Chechens.
Chechens.
I think. Or Georgia. Chechen, I think. Point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like when they were there, I never got the impression that they were like, were they part of something over there? I didn't think they were.
Here's the thing. So
who were they ratting on? Is my point.
So here's the thing. His uncle, this guy's uncle, which is very interesting, married into a CIA family.
Oh yeah.
This is very interesting. There's all these layers of intrigue. And so immediately at the party, I'm going into this, and you could see people's faces starting to contort, and like I could feel there's an ice over the room now. People are kind of squirming. People are looking at their phones. The people I'm with are kind of like, this is why we don't bring them, And I'm like, I didn't even want to come. I don't care.
This seems like a weird, almost recurring thread in these things. Because, like, you'd think, kind of like the Morgan Show with the whole Kennedy thing.
Yeah.
Well, you would think, like, I don't know, there's a procurement thing when you need some Chechen patsies.
Yeah.
But, like, hey, we need some Chechens to do it. Hey, my wife's family could do this. It's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
right. So you wonder if the CIA family and I forget the guy's exact name, but his name is Fuller. And I mean, this stuff is all out there. And Michelle McPhee writes about it in the new book. It's called Maximum Harm. They write about it on Who, What, Why. And basically the idea is that at some point the FBI had turned Tamerlan Tsarnaev, the older brother,
right.
And he was now informing, doing whatever. They had some relationship with him, and they were promising him citizenship. Her contention is that they don't follow through on their promise. He doesn't get citizenship. He snaps, goes, does this at the Boston Marathon. They are embarrassed, ashamed. It looks horrible. And then they go and start covering it up that they had any relationship with the guy.
What's confusing about this? I mean,
many things.
Yeah. One thing.
Many things.
Not the core issue, but, I mean, we have Trump here, and people are electing Trump because he's going to build a wall. Because once people get in, we can't get them out of the fucking country.
Right.
And yet this kid gets turned down for citizenship, which should be like, all right, whatever, and blows up a marathon? Like, it doesn't seem like a...
Well, so supposedly, I mean, perhaps this guy's not the most stable guy. Supposedly, there was this triple murder in Waltham, Massachusetts, that he's most likely involved in. I think they pinned it on him after the fact.
How like timeline-wise, was it like...
I think 2011.
So like right before, a couple of years
Yeah,
before?
I think, throw that on Google, Shannon. A triple murder, Waltham, Massachusetts. I'm going to say 2011. And so basically, he was supposedly involved with this. The feds, I think, don't question him about it. Leave him alone. Ignore that because they said he's just too valuable to us as an informant.
Right.
And then I think after they pinch him, so to speak, for the Boston Marathon, they then go back and posthumously then connect him to this other triple murder. Yeah.
It was in 2011.
2011. Yeah, I was reading all this last night. So now Ibrahim Todashev, the guy, if you remember, who the FBI killed during an investigation because he lunged at them.
Oh, yeah.
The FBI. I mean, this is funny.
Yeah.
If you can't laugh, but this is if you bring it up at a party of Ivy League kids in New York.
Were they in an interrogation room?
I
think they
it's
were.
a hotel room.
Okay. Yeah, hotel room. That's right. Yeah.
And by the way, why?
Yeah.
Why are they interrogating this guy in a hotel room? And I mean, can you bring up Dana Ibrahim Todashev because the official? Just go to Wiki or whatever. We just want the official explanation because it's hilarious. There's no supposedly the guy and there's 3 FBI agents. They all have guns.
Yeah, these aren't like we have for the past few years. We've had a lot of situations with unarmed black guys getting shot by cops. And look, we're not taking well, no, clearly it's wrong. But I'm saying, like, a lot of these cops are from, like, wherever. They're not the most trained guys in the world.
Right.
Some of them are out of shape. You
Right.
know? They're inexperienced, maybe.
It's me and Ray with guns.
Yeah.
pretty
These are
much.
3 FBI agents.
Right.
Like they're, for what you say about them, they're very well trained, know how to
Right.
shoot. Like, they
Right.
should be able to subdue one fucking guy
One Chechen
in a hotel room.
in a hotel room. So Dana, let's go. What's the official word here on this guy?
That he was shot dead, like you said, while he was filling out a statement about the Waltham murders. This was in Florida. Yeah, so the cops were in the apartment, and it said he allegedly attacked an agent with a pipe or a stick while writing a statement. So he
Or
just
a stick.
stopped.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Throw it
just
in.
stopped writing the statement and decided to attack this guy.
They
And
don't
why
teach you-
was he not patted down? And why was he not? Why are there pipes and sticks that he can grab off the floor?
I mean, that, of course. Again, this is not fucking the Suffolk police. They don't teach you stick defense at Quantico.
But here's the thing. Who in their right mind brings the guy in and goes, let's not pat him down.
Right.
Let's see what he's got.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's got. They pat you down. I've been patted down when my license is expired to make sure that I'm not going to fucking flip out by a regular state trooper.
Right.
Why in God's name is this guy not patted down by the fucking feds while they're... So he's shot dead. So McPhee says he probably knew something.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason he's dead.
Of course.
There's a reason he's
Look,
dead.
Going on this line of thinking and the facts you just relayed in general, he probably either could verify that who's the guy in question, one of the two?
Tamerlan Tsarnaev.
Tamerlan either was or wasn't involved in this murder.
Right.
And he was going to,
and he probably knew.
He's probably the only witness is the point.
And he knew Tamerlan was cooperating.
Right.
He was probably like, he was cooperating with you. The fuck he was. You know?
Tony, what the fuck?
But my point is, if you bring this up anywhere in polite society, and I went and I did this whole thing, and they started laughing.
Right.
And it makes me angry because I want to start punching people. All of these guys, who some of them genuinely really like me. In fact, one of them messaged me today and said how much he likes the podcast and likes me, didn't want me to be offended. And I was like, I'm not really offended. I think you're all idiots. I don't care who your dads are, where you went to school. It doesn't matter.
Wait. He messaged you to say that he likes podcasts, but what?
No, he emailed me and said, I hope you, so at the party, I said all of this.
Yeah.
And everybody, and this is a guy that I have spoken to about this stuff, and the finance guy is, and he's in private, he's more open to this stuff, but I think in front of his friends, he was kind of just like, Tim's a comedian.
Right.
Which is fine, but that kind of makes me angry because I'm like, you know what? What am I saying that's so insane? Is the guy not killed? Can we all not read that fucking thing? Can we all not? I don't care if you went to Harvard. I don't care if you went to Nassau Community College. Can we all not read that and think there's something weird there?
No. Of course. I think not the bias. Look, there's countless things that people should acknowledge as a possibility.
I'm not saying you got to be on board with everything we do.
No.
I don't think you have to who took Johnny the Musical. I get it. I get that that's a little outside of the mainstream. I get that's fringe.
No, of course. But there are things like look, the Kennedy assassination, most people concede, the CIA, the Russians, all these people are involved. There's a president being killed. Then you have 9/11. Less people are cool with you talking about it, but still, it's a major operation. It led to a war. You can wrap your head. Like, if I just tell you, this pressure cooker bombing at a marathon that killed 3 people, kind of a blunder job if you're a terrorist, by 2 inept kids, like in the middle of Boston, was a massive conspiracy. If you don't know anything else, it does sound kind of like, why would it be? Like,
and here's the other thing. It's not a conspiracy in the sense, we're not saying they did it.
Right.
We're not saying that the feds did this. We're not saying it was a false flag. We're not saying the world is not that black and white. We're not saying that these guys did nothing wrong. We're not saying they didn't set off the bombs. They probably did. What we are saying is there is more to the story here. There was a Saudi national that I think lived with these kids that we haven't heard from ever again.
Always seems to be a Saudi national.
Always a Saudi national. And in McPhee's book, there's always a Saudi. She said something about a Saudi national. The book is called Maximum Harm. I haven't read it, full disclosure.
I just got it from the library.
Did you? Yeah, read it. We might have her on. It depends. And I mean, because her type, the type of journalism she's doing, we respect and we try to. And that's the other thing on this show is like, listen, if you want to hear people debate what's PC and what's not, or all of the crap that it fills your ears and eyes every single day, there are 50 million podcasts and fucking shows you can watch and listen to all of that on.
And they
legitimately. And they will. And you will. But somebody said to me the other day, and I like the person, they said to me, they go, Moshe Kasher's new show, Problematic, which I'm sure is going to be a great show. I think Moshe's great. Yeah. But they go, it's like your podcast. And I said, well, with all due respect.
Can you wait till just the Franklin episode at least before we...
Can you, with all due respect, it's not.
Yeah.
It's really, really not. There are, and I will say this proudly, there are very few things, and this has to do with advertisers, a corporate structure, profitability, ambition. There's very few things like this podcast. There are very few things. If you listen to this podcast from beginning to this fucking episode right now, there are episodes that will make you crawl out of your fucking chair.
Yeah.
There's not going to be episodes of a show on a major network on television that are going to make you do that. I guarantee you probably not. But I guarantee you there are episodes of this fucking show that will educate you and make you think, because we are talking about different shit. Are doing it intelligently. Now we get to our friend Alex Jones. Alex Jones.
He's here? Oh.
No. We agree. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to be in Hoots of Johnny the Musical. This is how we finally get the globalists.